Hi, this is Tracy H. D, and I want to thank you for joining me today for our weekly Oracle and Tarot card reading. And this is going to be for the week of November the 2nd. And I'm going to be using the Quantum Oracle deck again because I'll tell you, these cards have been spot on for the last few weeks. And I'm just amazed with this deck. And I think we should just stick with this since it's been so spot on. So why change it, right? And as I shuffle the deck, I'm asking all light beings, angels, and God, please relay the message I need to share with my viewers for the highest good of all. And you could use this as a pick a card reading, 1, 2, or 3, or a blended reading. At the beginning of the week, I'll take the top card. Middle of the week, or card 2, a card from the center. And the end of the week, or card number 3, the bottom card. Okay, and what do we have here? Well, if you've picked card number 1, or the beginning of the week, we have optimism. And boy, I'll tell you, it's such trying times that we are going through, and I won't elaborate. We all know what's going on in this world, but any ounce of optimism is what we need to turn our day around. And this card here, beautiful greenery surrounding this woman, and the sun is shining in the background, and I love her beautiful long yellow dress. Yellow is such a beautiful, beautiful, cheerful color, and I just feel the cheerful energy emanating from this card. And we really need to start our week off with this optimism, because we set the tone for the rest of the week by how we start our day, too. And it's a woman looking at the sunshine, in the distance, and there's abundant fruit hanging all around her. And this card is a card of achievement, too. This woman is surrounded by abundance in this card. And, your reality is shifting in a much more positive direction, is what this card is saying. And look for an exciting new development in maybe money, romance, your career. This can also manifest as a personal accomplishment, or maybe being creatively successful. Maybe you just started something, a project, a new course of study, and you're going to be successful with it. Old blocks are falling away, and you're choosing to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And it all has to do with our attitude. If we feel that something positive is going to happen with a creative project or a change that we're making, we're going to draw in that positive energy. And like the law of attraction, and I'm not one of those people that just sits around thinking, just think positive, just think positive. Yes, we have to think positive, but we also have to back up these positive ideas and feelings with positive actions. Okay, so there's maybe a feeling of increased optimism taking holds, in your attitude, and maybe you're finally, determined to raise your consciousness to a more positive outlook. Maybe you're sick and tired of feeling sick and tired. So, maybe you're changing your thoughts now to those of positive things. I mean, it can't hurt. And I'm not saying to be, just thinking of positive things and being in denial over maybe some negative things that are going on. What I'm saying is just don't allow the negative things that surround us in everyday life to take over our positive outlook. Because once we have a negative thought in our mind, if we allow it to grow bigger and bigger and bigger, it snowballs into a full-blown thought attack. And before you know it, you're in the doldrums. So maybe some of you out there have realized that, maybe thinking positive and optimistic is going to make such a difference in your life, whereas before you were always looking on the doom and gloom side of life. So maybe think of something that you're to be grateful for in your life. Each and every one of us has at least something. And focus on that positive thought, because the way you begin your day is going to set the tone for the rest of the day, too. And, when you have this positive mindset, it's going to improve your attitude. It's going to improve your sense of optimism. It's going to brighten your future, of course, if you're thinking, about positive thoughts and good things instead of focusing on the negative. And, maybe you haven't been feeling or expecting to have good things come to you. But this card's telling you good things are on its way, but you've got to change your thoughts. to those of positive and optimistic ones. And then the next card, card number 2, or the middle of the week, playing it safe. And I believe we had this card before. I don't know, it looks very familiar. This woman is gated in here. In the background, it looks like we have some fireworks, and she's sitting here, and it looks like she's enjoying maybe some tea out in her private garden. And if you're into numerology, this was card number 1, and this card is card number 6. And the woman looks like she's contemplating something. Okay, she looks like she's deep in thought in her mind, and she's sitting there, not leaving her yard. She's in this beautiful garden and she's having some tea, but it looks like she's in deep thought. And she's fenced in. I noticed that fence as soon as I turn this card over. She's on this side of the fence and everything else is going on. The excitement is going on beyond, her fence. And there's light, fireworks lighting up the sky in the back of her, but looks like she's not focusing on those. She seems to be, just lounging comfortably in this garden, ignoring the outside world and ignoring those fireworks that are going on in the background. And, but she's really missing out, on life and the joy and excitement by keeping herself, fenced in. She's, taking the easy way. She's playing it safe. And, this may be what some of you are doing right now. That you're, holding yourself back out of fear and feeling that, maybe I should just stay in the situation, whether this is a relationship you're in that's not exactly perfect. It could be a toxic relationship, but you're scared to go out there, or you're scared to be alone. Or maybe you're staying in a soul crushing job that you know you don't belong in anymore, and it's just going through the motions of the 9 to 5, but it is a paycheck, and you're scared that if you leave, you might not be able to find something. So, a lot of you out there that have picked card number 2, or, in the middle of this week, you may be feeling like you're playing it safe with something. Okay, and maybe you need to branch out. So, there's a circumstance or relationship that's, taken place in your life right now that maybe you're doubtful about, but you're scared to make changes, and you're making the assumption that something familiar and predictable is, safe for you, but that's not necessarily the case, because if we stay in these bad situations, we're preventing ourselves from finding our true happiness and growing. You could be limiting yourself and limiting your happiness and joy that you could be experiencing if you would just go beyond your situation and leave the garden and go out into life and start enjoying it. And only when your choice to stay is based on a sense of joy and feeling, happy, is this the right thing to do. But, maybe there's something that you need to make a decision on. It's time to look at all of your options and know that you're resourceful enough to break through that fence, okay, and move on to maybe something bigger and better. The abundant world is yours for the taking, but if you're just sitting here being complacent, you're not going to know what that is. And I know it's scary not to know what the future holds. And change could be very scary because we fear the unknown, but if we stay stuck, we could really be holding ourselves back from something that could be so much more fulfilling. So a lot of you out there have decisions to make. And then the third card, or the end of the week, is behind a mask. And again, this looks like a card that I've seen before. And was this last week maybe? I don't know. I don't know, but this mask thing here, this woman is, she's at maybe it's her everyday mask, or maybe she's at a masquerade party, but she's wearing this elegant mask that covers up the top of her face, and it's hiding her identity. And, this card reveals an important conflict in your intentions. You have times when you view yourself as depleted. You believe that you must hide from those, of who you truly are, what your authentic self is, maybe to be accepted by people. Maybe some of you are pretending to be someone you're not, and you're hiding your true self for fear of being outcasted. Um, this gets to you into, it just gets you into a web, let's put it that way. When you hide what you truly are and you're not expressing or being your authentic self, it could be very, very draining. Okay. And it causes a lot of mental stress. But a lot of people fear that they might be rejected by society, if they were their true self, or maybe, you're overwhelmed by wanting to be perfectionist and being perfect in every way. But you know what? Sometimes the anxiety that it causes you, uh, in your mind, thinking of what other people would think if they knew your true authentic self, is all in your imagination. Maybe you're self-judging yourself. And when you're self-judging yourself, it's a very, very hard way to live. And that's putting it mildly. It's your own self-imposed prison. So you have to be the real you, okay? And this card is telling you that you can and must shed this false condemnation of yourself. A lot of us need more self-love in our lives. A lot of us are just way too judgmental of ourselves, and we just get caught up in that, and it's easy to get caught up in that because society is always showing us, what the perfect family looks like, what the perfect body looks like, what the perfect face looks like. And everybody's into that perfectionism and wanting to be that, be everything type of person, but it's not authentic. It's not being true to yourself. It's not being true to the people around you. And you need to shed this mask. For some of you out there that are not being your authentic self, it's time that you remove the mask and you value yourself and your truth, and that you stand in your truth. And, let this mask go, open up to spirit's light within you and all that's around you, and be yourself. When you accept yourself as you are, no matter what anyone else may think, you will feel completely liberated, perhaps for the first time in your life. And there's so many people out there that feel that they have to live up to other people's expectations, whether it's their friends, their family, or they put on this certain mask when they're at work, or they put on this certain mask when they're, you know, out in the world. And it's so exhausting. We all have something beautiful and unique to offer this world. Don't deprive yourself or others of being your authentic self. So many imaginary thoughts go through our mind that we have to live up to these expectations of what society wants from us, and that's not true. Even to this day, evermore, society is starting to open up. And what people thought was attractive or great years ago is no longer that way. We're breaking away from like the stereotypes of a lot of ways of living and a lot of ways of looking and acting and being. And I think more than ever, people are coming out and being their real selves and allowing their uniqueness and on this authenticity to shine through. So some of you out there that are scared of dropping the mask, do not be scared. Those people that are meant to be in your life are going to love you for the real you, and the ones that don't, they don't matter anyway. What a very interesting week. What a beautiful reading. If you've enjoyed this reading, please like it by giving it a thumbs up, share it, and above all, subscribe, because I will be back with more.